Hey guys, what's going on? It's Waseem here from Handsome Smiles. Thank you for joining me on another fragrance related video. So guys, today I'm going to be doing a review of a fragrance from the house of Tom Ford. It's one of the most popular niche fragrances out there. It's from Tom Ford's private blend collection. The fragrance I'm talking about is Tuscan Leather. Guys, Tuscan Leather was released in the year 2007 and is classified as a leather. Now, before I move on to the notes, guys, I just want to dish out a little bit of trivia regarding this fragrance. This fragrance was referenced in a song by an artist called Drake. Now, Drake is a hip hop artist and he has a song called Tuscan Leather where he compares the scent of Tuscan Leather to the scent of cocaine. Now, I don't take cocaine and I don't take drugs, so I don't know if that reference or that comparison is true, but I just thought I'd dish out that little bit of interesting trivia. Apparently, Tom Ford's Tuscan Leather smells like cocaine. Well, it does to that artist Drake. Let's move over to the notes, guys. At the top, you're going to get raspberry, saffron and thyme. The heart of the fragrance is olibanum and jasmine. And the base of the fragrance, you're going to get some amber, some woody notes, suede and leather. So guys, what do I get on my skin whenever I wear Tom Ford's Tuscan Leather? For me, this is a linear scent. On my skin, this is a very spicy, leathery scent with a little bit of sweetness and a touch of smokiness. Now, the spiciness that you get from this fragrance is from the saffron. That mixes and blends really well with the leather. The leather and the saffron just create this really spicy, leathery scent. And the leather in this fragrance is incredibly masculine, very, very rugged, guys. It has this very industrial feel to it. It also has this quite old school sort of feel to it. One of my subscribers on a video that I did, my top 5 leather fragrances, he said that this fragrance reminds him of a old school English gentleman wearing a top hat, and he definitely hit this fragrance on its head when he said that. This fragrance really does invoke that sort of notion of a old school English gentleman from the 40s, maybe the 30s, wearing a top hat. It really does give off that sort of aura. This fragrance also has a touch of sweetness as well, which I get from the raspberry note. Now, a lot of reviewers have said that the raspberry note is quite prominent on their skin, especially in the dry down. But sadly for me, on my skin, I really didn't get that. The raspberry was very subtle on my skin and was very much in the background. The main notes I got were the saffron and the leather, with that sweet raspberry in the background and the touch of smokiness on the leather as well. The touch of smokiness that you get, I believe, is from the note of olibanum. Now, olibanum is a resin that's found throughout the Middle East and I believe some parts of Asia as well. Olibanum is also known as frankincense, and this resin is picked from trees. And as a young boy, when I used to go to a mosque, it was actually my responsibility every Friday, which was given to me by my mosque teacher, to actually burn olibanum. And whenever you burn olibanum, you basically burn olibanum on some coal, and as the coal burns, it heats up the olibanum and burns that, and the olibanum just creates this beautiful aroma, this beautiful incense. And I actually, as a young child, used to burn the olibanum on a coal on this little flask, and I used to take it around all the little rooms of the mosque, and just every Friday just fill up all the little rooms with some olibanum fragrance. I absolutely adore the scent of olibanum. I didn't actually pick up the scent that I could remember of olibanum in this fragrance, but I believe the olibanum added a little bit of smokiness, especially to the leather in this scent. I'll be honest, guys, when I first got Tom Ford's Tuscan Leather, I wasn't massively impressed. This is a fragrance which gets talked about massively here on YouTube. It's very hyped up, and I was expecting for me to have the same reaction that I did with Tobacco Vanille. The first time I smelled Tobacco Vanille, I was just blown away. My mind was absolutely blown how beautiful and gorgeous that scent was. My first impressions of Tuscan Leather were vastly different. I found this to be quite harsh. I found the leather to be very strong, had this very industrial type of a vibe, very masculine as well. This is definitely a fragrance which I can only imagine a man wearing. Now this is marketed towards men and women, but really I cannot see a woman being able to pull this off. My first impressions as well, that I found the note of suede and leather in this fragrance to be quite cheap smelling. Now that might be a surprise to a lot of you people, because Tuscan leather is on everyone's top formal fragrance, but for me I really didn't agree with it when I first sprayed this on. Now I have had this fragrance for a good 7 months now, and I've been testing it a lot, and this fragrance has warmed to me. It's not had a complete U-turn, and I've not fallen in love with this scent, but I have warmed to it, and I do like the scent. But it does have its flaws for me, in my opinion. For me, this fragrance just lacks a lot of versatility. For me, I can only imagine wearing this fragrance in the winter when it's cold. This fragrance would really work in that sort of season, and it can only work at night time for a casual night out with your friends. Now, I'm not saying this would be a clubbing scent, but this would be a scent which I would wear on casual nights out with my friends when I'm going to maybe play some snooker or play some pool. A lot of people consider it to be a formal event scent, a fragrance which they would wear when they're wearing a suit or a tie, when they're going to a special occasion. Now this fragrance does have a very luxurious leather smell, but due to that touch of smokiness and the very industrial and rugged masculine sort of leather that you get in this scent, I really could not imagine myself wearing this when I'm wearing a suit. Now if I was wearing a suit and I was looking my best and I was going to a formal event and I wanted to wear a leather scent, I would look to Dior Homme Parfum. Now that is a very classy and elegant leather scent. For me, Tuscan leather is a great leather scent, but it's just very strong and masculine that I can really only imagine wearing this one for a night out, guys. If I move on to the performance, for me, this one disappointed me again. A lot of people were saying this is a beastly fragrance on their skin, and having experienced Tobacco Vanille from the same house, I was expecting the same sort of performance. But sadly on my skin, this just didn't have the same sort of performance as a lot of people were saying. Now it wasn't bad in terms of performance. I got about 8 hours of longevity, 8 to 10 hours of longevity, and the projection was actually very strong in the first 3 hours. But after the 3 or 4 hour mark, the fragrance started becoming quite closer to my skin, and the projection was on the very low end of average. As far as age group goes, for Tuscan leather, I feel due to its masculine vibe, very industrial leathery accords, I really feel this would work for a mature individual, someone above the age of 30. Alright guys, now it's time to rate Tom Ford's Tuscan leather. For me, this fragrance would get a 3.5 out of 5. For me, the scent was very good. I liked the scent, but I didn't fall in love with it. It's a beautiful, spicy saffron and leather based fragrance with a touch of raspberry and some olive barnum, giving it a little bit of sweetness and some smokiness. A good scent, but it just wasn't for me. It was very masculine, very industrial, quite rugged as well. And some people are really going to enjoy that, but for me, I found the scent to be too mature for my taste. It's definitely going to be a fragrance which I'll be revisiting sometime in the future. This fragrance also disappointed me in terms of performance as well. The projection wasn't what I was looking for. It was quite soft on my skin, and for that reason, overall, I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. That's Tom Ford's Tuscan leather. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. Make sure to subscribe so you'll be the first to know about my future videos. Also remember to leave a like and a comment below. And guys, until next time, see you later.